The NHL absolutely screwed the Islanders tonight with a tough call in a must-win game against the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Islanders ended up falling to the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-3, and this is definitely a heartbreaking game for the New York Islanders. And frankly, I think the refs made a terrible call here. And in general, there has been no consistency all year long when it comes to these goalie interference calls. We're going to break it all down on this episode of Islanders Digest. But before we get into it, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Be one of our first 100 subscribers. If you're an Islander fan and you want more Islanders content like this is the channel for you. And I just genuinely cannot believe the refs called no goal on the play there. It definitely warranted a review, but as the NHL said, it was not conclusive whether or not there was goaltender interference. As a result, the refs made the wrong play because if you can't conclude it either for or against, it should not have been called in the first place. Terrible call. We're going to really look at why I think this was a terrible call by the NHL. And in general, I do want to say, even though the refs did screw the Islanders here, especially on this goal, the Islanders also screwed themselves tonight. They had an opportunity after coming out of the first period, 2-0, absolutely dominating to play, to really close this game out, and they did not do that. They really struggled especially in the third period, giving up 17 shots. So while the refs did screw the Islanders here, they also did screw themselves. And frankly, the way they were playing in the third period, it seemed like they did not want it. Now let's get right into these screenshots about this goal and why I definitely think this was the wrong call by the refs. Here you can see there definitely is a little contact here between Merzlikins and Palmieri, but one thing I definitely want to note is Kyle Palmieri is not in the crease. And for the most part in the contact, Merzlikins was coming out as Kyle Palmieri was coming in front of the net, and that's where the contact took place. That being said, what you really want to look at right here is here. Kyle Palmieri skated away from the net, right? And Merzlikins did have time to set his position because he kind of set up and slid the wrong way. So he kind of envisioned the tip going this way, and that's how he got beat. He saw the puck, he got beat by a good below the bar tip, and this should not have been goaltender interference. Right here, he clearly has the ability to make this save, and he slides the wrong way. As a result, the goal went in, and this should have been a goal on the ice. This should have been the end of story. It did not happen that way, and this is definitely really frustrating for Islanders fans. As I said earlier in this video, if this was called a goal on the ice by the refs, then this goal would have counted. So basically, whatever this was called on the ice was going to stand. So overall, terrible call by the referees. Definitely cost the Islanders the game. That being said, the Islanders did also cost themselves this game. Not going to hold the Islanders away from blame. And I understand this is a strong group that doesn't really have all its talent. They're playing the best they can with what they have, but they're really starting to get leaky in the third periods again. We saw it against Calgary, and we saw it again tonight, where the Islanders had a lead, and they could not hold onto it in the third period. And this has now cost them 2 points in back-to-back games. And if they're going to catch the Montreal Canadiens and make the playoffs, this cannot happen. Goals, forget about the goal. Plays like this where they make mistakes and letting goals late into these games cannot happen. That is not playoff hockey. That's exactly the problem and why the Islanders are struggling so much. In the beginning of the season, you think about how many points did the Islanders leave on the table because they could not close out games. And now here they are slipping into the same problems. Now, granted, it does not look the same. And again, they should have gotten 2 points tonight because they did score at the end of that period, but they don't get it done. They end up going to the shootout and they lose in the shootout. As an Islander fan, I was pretty certain that I didn't even need to watch the shootout once they got to the shootout. The Islanders are not good in the shootout. They did have a really good 3-on-3 overtime. I was really hoping they'd score right at the end there. It would have been perfect, especially if Kyle Palmieri got a big goal there, because he deserved to have a goal in this game the way he played. We're going to really break down a little bit more about this game now that it's over, and I can kind of relax about that terrible call. I still think this is an awful call, but one guy I really want to shout out after this game is I think Adam Bovequist played a really solid game on the third line, playing on the wing. And honestly, I would not be disappointed if the Islanders continue to do this experiment. Now, I saw on Twitter a lot of Islander fans were upset that the Islanders chose to use Adam Bovequist as opposed to a player like Matt Martin or a guy down in Bridgeport. And first of all, I want to say, if there was a guy in Bridgeport who could play at the level that Adam Bovequist can play, he probably would have gotten called up tonight. The Islanders do not have that quality player in Bridgeport. They would have been here a lot earlier this season if they did. They do have some solid guys down there, but there's really no one who you can plug into a playoff race like this and expect some impact this late into the season. You got guys like Jeffries and Maggio, and they are fun to watch, but they are not ready to play an NHL game, especially at this level. In addition, people were talking about Matt Martin and how they'd like to see him play instead of Fasching, if Fasching was sick. And to that, Adam Boqvist adds so much more offense, and right now, as we can see the Islanders playing, they really need more offense in their lineup. And I have to say, Adam Boqvist was a huge factor in why the Islanders had a lead earlier in this game, and honestly, why they got a point out of this game. I think Adam Boqvist was really strong. The way he moves the puck and kind of plays with Pierre Engvall, I think they complement each other really well. And if you really take a look at Adam Boqvist's skill set, this is a defenseman who's kind of struggled on the defensive end, but he's really good on the power play. He loves to join the rush. I mean, we saw his goal in the rush earlier this season, and I'm really wondering if maybe forward might be a better position for a player like Boqvist. We know he has the high-end skill. We know he has the high-end speed, and he's been able to score points from the point as a defenseman, and maybe he just fits better as a third forward, a guy who plays high up in the point. And we know he likes to come down to the play, and I really did enjoy that part of his game. Also have to shout out Pierre Engvall. I don't know where this Pierre Engvall has been all season or last season or even as soon as we got him. But the way he's playing right now, I really hope he continues to play this way. He's been incredible every single night, doing so many little things beyond the goal. He's playing so many little plays well, playing hard, using his body. And if this is the Pierre Engvall we're going to get, he is definitely not going to get bought out. I know there were a lot of rumors about Pierre Engvall getting bought out. If this is what he's going to bring to the game, he is definitely going to be an Islander, and I want him to continue being an Islander because I love the way he's playing. Another player who I thought played really well, Anders Lee, did show a lot of heart, got that goal, which was also reviewed for a while. I think the NHL also really needs to work on what it means, how long you can look at these plays before there's a review, because realistically, Columbus should have gotten a penalty for delay of game there when they were looking at that play for so long before they started to review it, the previous goal that did count. And between that, some teams having all this time to look at goals before they review them, when that should be an automatic thing. And then again, the NHL being so inconsistent with these goalie interferences, because that's my main problem with this goalie interference. If this is the thing that the NHL has been calling all year around, even if I don't like it, fine, I can accept it. I can see the play, and I know right away it is not goaltender interference. Nobody knows what goaltender interference is this season. Patrick Waugh has no clue what goaltender interference is, and he's a goalie, one of the best to ever play, and he has no idea what these rules are anymore. No one really does. It's kind of like a shot in the dark. You see a goal go in, and there's kind of somebody near the net, and you just throw the flag and see what happens. And that is definitely not what this should be, and it definitely cost the Islanders 2 points, and it would have prevented Columbus from getting points in this game. Really want to break down, before we end this video, the standings, how they stand. Gave Columbus a big point here, breathing some life into their season. And yeah, now you're going to have to watch out from Columbus behind you. But at the end of the day, the Islanders still have to focus on who's ahead of them, and that is the Montreal Canadiens. This would have been a huge opportunity if they got 2 points to tie the Montreal Canadiens. Granted, Montreal would still have a game in hand, but if they lost that game, the Islanders would be in a playoff spot. Now they find themselves in a tie with the Rangers. Granted, the Islanders do have a game in hand on the Rangers, a game they will be playing in 2 days against not Columbus. They'll be playing the Canucks, and that is a huge must-win game. The Canucks are without Pettersson. The Islanders need to get 2 points in that game. They need to have a strong game. They can't have another game where they get a few new goals early in the game and then just fall apart towards the end. They have to have a strong front to finish game. This is one of the easier games you're going to have for the rest of the season. For the rest of the season, you're going to be playing stronger teams such as Washington, such as Tampa Bay. And if you want to beat those teams, you cannot be leaking goals late in the third period like they did tonight. It's good they at least got 1 point. They inch a little closer. Hopefully Montreal loses tomorrow, so the Islanders do have a chance to kind of push for that spot soon. But a rough loss here nonetheless. Shootout was tough to watch. And while the Islanders did play well at points, they were just not good enough. Now, another team I do want to note, because we really haven't been talking about them, we've been really focusing on the wildcard teams here, but a team that did get 1 point tonight, but really has not looked that good recently, is the New Jersey Devils. Now, with only 10 games left, it is going to be a little tough to catch the Devils, but now the Devils have 81 points. They're really not playing well. Recently, 4-5-1 in their last 10 games. And their locker room just seems off. Without Hughes, without Hamilton, they are really struggling. I wonder if that's another team that the Islanders could potentially catch. It's going to take a tremendous effort on their part if they are to catch the Devils. But with the way they've played recently, I think it's definitely worth noting and putting them on the board. Devils have not been playing great hockey. They barely squeaked out at a point with Vancouver tonight. And it's going to be really interesting to see this race down the stretch. I really hope it does not burn them that the Islanders lost 2 points here, one against Calgary and one against Columbus. It's going to make the rest of this season exciting. Let me know your thoughts after this game. Do you think that should have been the goal? Should have been a goal? And do you think the Islanders are still going to be able to make the playoffs after losing these 2 points in big overtime games? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. As always, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, and let's go Islanders.